Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to John G. Jones Research Lodge number 147. Working up under the most wishful John G. Jones Grand Lodge, California, ancient free and accepted Masons. I'm yours truly, Tony Hawkins, aka Tony Muhammad. I want to welcome you this evening to this great show. So today's topic is going to be who decides if your Grand Lodge is legitimate? Who makes that decision? Where does that confidence, that authority comes from? Who decides on who is legitimate or not? So that's today's topic. So if you want to join us, please tune in. Hit the like button. I certainly would appreciate it. We're about to get hot up in here because that sometimes can rattle some people uh, wings. It can mess with them. So we're gonna get right into this topic. Who decides whether a Grand Lodge is legitimate or not? Because we know that we hear often in regards to um, non-mainstream, non-Prince Hall brothers as being clandestine and bogus, and that goes for the sisters too. I'm not going to leave out the Order of the Eastern Star. We're going to talk about them also. So who makes that decision? Who comes along and says, hey, you are not who you claim to be, that you are fake this or fake that? Who makes that decision? Now, what I've learned and what I've read and what I've come across is that that decision is made by a preceding Grand Lodge. They then claim that you are not who you say you are because they more than likely don't recognize you as being a Mason or an individual or sister of the Order of the Eastern Star. So that Grand Lodge of state or whoever they may be may say, no, you're not legitimate to us, or we don't recognize you, so therefore you're not who you say you are. And see, you have to understand the difference in play on word when one says you're not recognized versus one that says that um, you're not recognized, you're bogus, you're clandestine. Please understand the definition of the words before you just throw them out at individual Grand Lodges without knowing exactly who they are or how they were started or how they was formed. Because some Grand Lodges I know was formed from another Grand Lodge. There was a disagreement or whatever it happens, brothers left. They then formed themselves into a Grand Lodge. They have every right to do that. Now, whether the formal Grand Lodge recognizes them or not is totally up to them. That is their decision to make. It's not mine at all. Now, I personally known of brothers who have gone and started with other brothers from different jurisdictions a Grand Lodge, and I don't kick them or denounce them either way. You know, um, I have even not me personally, but I know my Grand Lodge has even chartered lodges to help establish other Grand Lodges. We've done that upon the request of a lodge that is looking to become a member of our Grand Lodge. So we chartered that lodge. Then they moved on to formulate their own Grand Lodge. We have absolutely no hard feelings towards that Grand Lodge. We understood that in the get go that is what they wanted to do. Um, and I'm not mad. I mean, the thing is that when brothers go out, or they may be angry at their Grand Master or whatever or whomever, and go out and start their own jurisdiction, it is up to that Grand Lodge for which they come from to either recognize them or not as legitimate Masons. If they do not recognize them as legitimate Masons, that's their decision. It doesn't mean that they're not legitimate, because another Grand Lodge can come along and say, yes, I will recognize you as a legitimate Grand Lodge, and keep it moving. So to answer the question for tonight, and if you want to call in and have that discussion, please do so. That number tonight is going to be 619 286 0642 is the call-in number tonight. My other number is off limits right now, so if you want to call in tonight, you're certainly welcome to do so. As I said, The call-in number tonight is going to be 619 286 0642. That's going to be the call-in number. If you wanna call in and have that discussion tonight, we're certainly welcome to do so. And I'm going to send a big shout out to the General Grand Masonic Congress as they held their 101 anniversary in Buffalo, New York. Congratulations. Certainly, it was indeed a pleasure to know that you had a successful session. So congratulations to that particular jurisdiction. So if you're going to call in tonight, that's going to be the number right there. 286-0642 is the number. Does a count? Okay, let's see what we got here. So this is where we're at tonight. Who decides whether a Grand Lodge is legit or not? So come on board and let's have that conversation. And greetings to all. Greetings, Joshua. Appreciate you coming on. Greetings, Brother Nyklin. Sister Jennifer. How you doing? I certainly appreciate you coming on. Humphreys, appreciate you coming on. And we're going to get right into this. So greetings, Big Coop. Your package is in the mail, bruh. I apologize for getting behind schedule. I just want to make sure. And if you are a member of John G. Jones Research Lodge number 147 and you're in a different state and you have not yet received your package, that's on me. I'm responsible for that. So I want to apologize to you if I hadn't gotten it out to you. We're going to get right into this, though. I'm going to make sure that I get it out to you. So greetings to everyone. Brother Cox, thank you coming on. Is that Cox Loso TV? Carlos Cox Loso TV. Not a Mason, but I'm interested and always true. Turn into Mr. Hawkins. Great information. Well, brother, welcome aboard. I appreciate you. Greetings, everybody. So we're going to have this discussion today because we hear a lot about who's this and who's that. So greetings. Who decides if you are legitimate or not? That is the question. Hit the like button for me tonight. I certainly would appreciate it if you hit the like button also. So my answer to the question, and I want to hear back from you tonight, is that your Grand Lodge makes that decision. Your Grand Lodge decides on who's legitimate or not. Your Grand Lodge makes that decision. However, the Grand Lodge that your Grand Lodge may consider to be illegitimate, bogus, or clandestine, doesn't mean it's true. It's just their decision. It's just like if somebody lied on you and said that you did this and did that, and the next person you tell believes it, but it's not necessarily true. So it's kind of complicated, but it's not. Understand this. Your Grand Lodge decides who's legitimate to them. Okay? It's just that simple. Your Grand Lodge, for which you are a part of, decides who is legitimate or not. Exit question, and you never answered it. Oh, what was the exit question? Anthony Brown, what was the question? I need to know because you said I never answered it, so you need to let me know what was the question. So, and then I get right on it. But definitely tonight we're talking about who decides if you're legitimate or not. Now I know how some may feel in regards to me, but it doesn't make me any difference because according to other jurisdictions, I'm just as legitimate as most. And I keep rolling with that. And I tell brothers that all the time. You always go where you're welcome and not just where you're tolerated at. To me, England shouldn't decide. England doesn't decide who's legitimate. England does not decide who's legitimate or not. They do not make that decision at all. They don't. Just because England may say that they don't recognize you doesn't mean that you're not legitimate. England does not make that decision. So let's have that conversation. Now, a lot of people may feel that England plays a part in it because they're supposed to be the premier Grand Lodge, the it factor, but they don't make that decision. England does not make that decision, brothers and sisters. What if a chapter split and goes right under a national? That is that chapter's business. If a chapter wants to leave and go up under another Grand Lodge, they can. after that chapter. But however, if sisters are still left there in that chapter, they keep everything. If the chapter split, one go this way, one goes that way. If the sisters decide to stay with that Grand Lodge for which they received their charter from, they maintain control of the chapter. Hear me clearly. If a chapter splits and sisters leave, the sister who stays under that grand jurisdiction maintains full control of the chapter, meaning the checkbooks, the paraphernalia, all of that maintains and stays with the chapter. Now, if the whole chapter decides to leave, when they take everything, because they purchased it as a chapter. But if the chapter splits and those who want to stay, they keep everything. They maintain everything. That's what they do. Does a council or a chapter get adopted by a Grand Lodge? That's what they were asking. Okay, now, a chapter is adopted by a Grand Lodge, okay? Period. A chapter is adopted by a Grand Lodge. The Grand Lodge is the only organization that can help formulate a grand chapter. No Supreme Grand Lodge, no Supreme General Grand Masonic, none of that. Only a Grand Lodge can formulate a grand chapter. They're the only somebody that can do it. I've heard of Supreme Grand chapters pulling charters. They can't pull your charter. You work up under a Grand Lodge. A Grand chapter works with, or some say under, a Grand Lodge, because that is who they are adopted by. Period. I don't understand sometimes why people want to go through that headache. All right, I appreciate you too, Sister Jennifer. All right, greetings everybody. Green, how you doing there? Hill, how you doing? Peace and greetings. On the bright side, Prince Hall and mainstream state of Tennessee finally recognizes each other. Congratulations. That's awesome. Prince Hall Grand Lodge of Tennessee and the mainstream Grand Lodge of Tennessee has finally had recognition with each other. That is awesome. I just would say this, in all you do, make sure you take care of home first. Just saying. You like them wings right there? I do too. So, so we're going to get right on in it. So if you want to call in tonight, you're certainly welcome to do so. Once again, tonight's call-in number. My administrator, I didn't tell him I was coming on, so he may be a late coming on. So that number is 619-286-0642 if you want to call in. So we're going to get right on in it. So let me see if I mix somebody else's question. The brother said earlier that I missed this exit question. I don't know what was this exit question. I'm going to find out and we're going to answer that for him. Okay, all right. I don't see it. I can't go back any higher. All right. Jennifer, oh, okay. I hope I answered the question. Thank you there, Brother Anthony Brown. Thank you. I think I did answer that for her. Jennifer asked a question and you never responded to it. I hope that is the question that I just responded to. So let's get right. Does a council? Nope. Absolutely. Greetings, Brother Fitzgerald. Welcome aboard, everybody who's coming on. I certainly want to appreciate you coming on tonight. What is my name? My name is Brother Tony Hawkins, aka Tony Muhammad. For those who know me as that, and that's my name. You can take the Hawkins or the Muhammad. It doesn't matter to me. All right, Ham Grand Lodge. How you doing there, brother? I just watched the video with a Prince Hall brother. He was out of line then. Mindset is sad. Not all of them, but it's sad. Well, hey, it is what it is. Greetings, everybody who's coming on. We need a John G. Jones Lodge in, where you at? CT, is that Connecticut? CT? Am I right? I'm just asking. I think that's, I don't want to, Is that Connecticut I'm looking at? We need a John G. Jones in Connecticut, CT? Just checking. So back to the topic at hand, who decides on who makes or who decides whether a Grand Lodge is legit or not? When a Grand Lodge is formulated, it claims its own entitlements. Okay, a Grand Lodge assumes power. Okay, and claims its own legitimacy. Plain and simple. Hear me clearly. A Grand Lodge assumes power and claims its own legitimacy. That's how it's been done since day go. All right? Now, people may often say, well, the systems for which we practice here in the United States is an Americanized type of Freemasonry. Okay, when you go overseas, you'll see other systems of Freemasonry. It's very different than what we have here. The system of Freemasonry we have in the United States is different than it is overseas. It is. If you've ever gone anywhere, you know for yourself that it's different. So don't get caught up in regards to jurisdictions and we don't do it this way or do it that way. If you ever go visit anybody's Grand Lodge here in the United States, you're going to see things a little differently than you would do them and how you would proceed to handle business. Hey, Brother Hill, how you doing? Definitely want to send Brother Hill, Kenneth Hill, a big shout out from Most Wishful St. John's Grand Lodge out of Chicago, Illinois. I understand they just had session in Buffalo, New York, and I just want to send them a big shout out, congratulating them on that. I am located in Alabama. All right. Any chapters close by? I'm close to. I know where Columbus, Georgia is at. Oh, we're gonna have to definitely hook up, bro. Just you know what? After the show, if you want to give me a call, Brother Cox, you're certainly welcome to do so. I appreciate that, and we'll get you. We'll work something out for you. If you are truly interested in the craft, we'll get that done for you. I appreciate that. Now, going back to what I was saying in regards to legitimacy, every Grand Lodge that comes into existence claim their own legitimacy. Now, other Grand Lodges can say that they're not legitimate, but it would be according to their rules and their regulations. So according to X, Y, and Z rules and regulations, ABC may not be legitimate. However, that doesn't stop A, B, and C from practicing Freemasonry according to their own bylaws, according to their own constitution, and the structure for which they have established themselves as a Grand Lodge. Period. That case is closed. I should actually log off right now. Now, if anybody else wants to disagree with me and they see me from another point of view, go ahead. Let's have that conversation. Anthony Brown, don't just curious, John G. Jones have any Blue Lodge? I've never heard of you speak about them. Do we have, Anthony Brown, just curious, John G. Jones have any Blue Lodges? Oh yeah, man. He said, do John G. Jones have any Blue Lodges? Yes. Depends on where you at. If you're in Georgia, there are Grand Lodges in Georgia that represents the history and the man John G. Jones. Yes, there is. Now, I understand the brother said he was in Columbus, Georgia, and I definitely can get him connected there in Columbus, Georgia. If he's definitely interested, I can get him connected in Georgia. That's not an issue. Also, in regards to Grand Lodges being here in California, that are part of the John G. Jones heritage or lineage, however you want to put it. Yes, there are plenty and many Blue Lodges that works up under that structure. Brother Edwards, how you doing? Welcome aboard. I appreciate you. Traveling man, Grand Lodges determine whether another Grand Lodge should be recognized, but no one established legitimacy except the legitimate of origin of their Grand Lodge. I can agree with that. I can see that from that point of view, Traveling man. I appreciate that. That's a great point. What about mainstream PHO in the South? They still don't see PHA as legitimate. That's their problem. If a Grand Lodge in the South doesn't see PHA as legitimate, that is their issue. It's not PHA issue. PHA is just as legitimate as mainstream Freemasonry. Yes, I said it. Do I always agree with Prince Hall brothers? No, I don't. But that doesn't give me the right to bash or say or call names. I'm not going to do that. I'm bigger than that. I have matured in this journey we call Freemasonry. And when you do that, you tend to not even hold conversation with those who have not yet matured or grown up. When you find individuals who want to debate you on issues such as legitimacy, and they themselves was considered illegitimate at one time by what I would consider mainstream or white Masons, then there you have it. You don't need to do that to yourself. Don't do that to yourself at all. That's what I say. Don't do that to yourself at all. You know, if your Grand Lodge has recognition with another Grand Lodge and you can go visit, you're just as legitimate as any other jurisdiction. Just because you don't have amity with that particular Grand Lodge and they don't want you to visit, that doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't. A lot of people miss that. And that's the joy I have about being a Mason, is that it is not based upon one individual thought process or a group of individual thought processes. I mean, the Brotherhood of Freemasonry is beyond East and West, and you cannot contain the Brotherhood. Period. You may try to stretch your arms around and say, well, my group. See, when you say my group, you are limited to your group. You know, just as I said the other day, last week, I said I no longer practice what I would consider to be operative masonry or speculative masonry. Operative is different, but speculative masonry, I don't. I do not practice speculative Freemasonry as you would consider to be Freemasonry out of your Masonic rituals. I don't. That's me. I have only met PHA brothers in the wild. And they have all the grip. They have all gripped me. But I do notice when I say St. John's, they always say St. John's. Huh? My brother? Don't even sweat that, man. Brother Hill, you can't get caught up in that. Don't do that to yourself. It's not worth it. It is not worth it at all. Seen it happen too many times. And that's the problem. Oh, Brother Hammer Grand Lodge says, and that's the problem. The problem, most people that don't understand that, brothers, we have John G. Jones Consistory number 16 here in Maryland. Wow, okay, all right, there you go. So we must understand that a Grand Lodge decides its own legitimacy when it is formulated, period. Other Grand Lodges choose to recognize it as such, and that is of their own free will and accord. A Grand Lodge can exist by itself and continue to move forward without being molested or anything else. It doesn't need anybody to formulate them as far as giving them recognition and saying you're legitimate or not. They don't. They themselves give that to themselves. They formulate and say, I am just as legitimate. I am who I am. And they practice Freemasonry freely because it is Freemasonry. Unless you're practicing that thing they call speculative Freemasonry. That's something totally different. How do you feel about mainstream white Masons? Well, you know what? To be truthful, I think there are some awesome mainstream Freemasons out there. My white brothers, I do. However, there are some who are very racist. That's true, you know, but as it is said always, until I found him or them as worthy and well qualified as I am myself, then I will proceed to go from there. But other than that, they are who they are. And they're the largest body of Masons in the United States. It is true. It is a fact. I give them that. It's true. They are. And that's how I feel about them. That's where I'm at. I don't expect for them to give me anything. I don't expect for them to say, oh, well, you just like me. I'm not just like them. I don't expect that. And oh, excuse me. And for any of us to go around saying, well, I'm just like them, you are gravely mistaken. You may practice Freemasonry like them, but you are not like them. You don't do that to yourself. Don't ever do that to yourself. Can John G. Jones trace his lineage to any of the Mother Grand Lodges? I would say this here, Wisdom Peace in 1991. As far as I know of, to be truthful and honest and blunt with you, no. But that doesn't mean that they're not legit. See, when you say, can John G. Jones trace his lineage to any of the Mother Grand Lodges, who gave them that name? Did you give them the name Mother Grand Lodge? Because I didn't. I'll wait on that. Who gave them the name Mother Grand Lodge? So, let's move on from that. Mainstream does not see PHA legitimate here in Georgia. They feel that we have the lineage of slaves and we were not born free. And see, that's the issue we have amongst our own selves, brother, is that we as Black Masons don't even see ourselves as legitimate. Why do you depend on someone else to decide whether you're legitimate or not? If a brother doesn't see me as a legitimate Mason, then that's on him. That's not my issue. Now, it took me some time to grow and to grasp that. But once I did, I understood I don't need someone's approval to decide who I am. I decide who I am. I'm legitimate to the brothers who recognize me as a Mason. That's who I'm legitimate to. Anybody else outside that circle can go kick rocks and keep moving. I have never met a white Mason and keep me in that. I've never met a white Mason and I keep my light on. Well, I met plenty of white Masons in my lifetime, and I've always been respected by them, even if they don't consider me to be recognized by their Grand Lodge. They've always shown me respect when we've talked. We've always gripped, and we have an understanding. You are who you are, and they are who they are, and we keep it moving. We sit down, we break bread, we eat. What are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about Masonry. Oh, yes, we are going to have that conversations, because that's what we do. The only Grand Lodge in the United States that can trace its lineage to the Mother Grand Lodge would be the Grand Lodge of State, PHA. Okay, if you feel that way, I'll tell you this. That one lodge, 359, 449, whatever that African lodge is, that lodge is not an active initiated lodge anymore. So if it's not active anymore, it's non-existent. Now they have where you can have membership to that lodge, as far as, because it is a historical name about itself. But from what I know of that particular lodge, that African lodge that you're talking about, that had received a charter, so-called charter from the Grand Lodge of England, it did not get its charter from the Grand Lodge, United Grand Lodge of England. It received this charter from the Grand Lodge of England, which is no longer in existence. It is not. All right, a lot of white Masons respect me for thinking for myself. You better think for yourself. That's the best thing you can do, is think for yourself. Because how can you call yourself a Freemason if you're not a free thinker? Make your own decisions about things in life, period. Now, I'm never going to tell a brother to disrespect his Grand Lodge constitutional bylaws. I'm not telling you to do that. What I'm saying is that as a man, you're supposed to be free thinking, free wielding human being. You make your own decisions based upon circumstances that are before you. Period. All right. Let's see. Tori, I was referring to PHA, brother. I met on a public. When I identified myself to them, they gripped me. Then I said my state Grand Lodge. Oh, okay. A lot of white Masons respect me for thinking, okay, I see now. I'm a traveling man from Chicago, but I've been enlisting for 7 years. Oh, okay. I know what enlisting is at. I've stayed over in that area before. Scottish Rite all day. So what is this? Wait a minute. You're going to say Scottish Rite all day. What is Scottish Rite? Are you talking ancient, free, and accepted Masons? If you're saying that because you are ancient, free, and accepted Mason, you are Scottish Rite. Brother, unless you have taken the Scottish Rite obligations in those preceding degrees and body, you are not a Scottish Rite Mason. You're not. If your Grand Lodge has the marquee of ancient, free, and accepted Masons behind it, it is clearly saying that you practice the ancient customs of Freemasonry. Ancient, free, and accepted Masons. If this says free and accepted Masons, you're clearly saying to me that you practice the modern free and accepted Masons, that the modern area for which Freemasonry finds itself in. That's from my reading. Now, if you have something else that you would like to share with me, I'm all ears. I'm all ears. I'll listen. So much hate in seeing who recognized or not. Well, I won't say so much hate. It is that young Masons who come up in the organization has not yet matured, and this is what you will get. That's all it is. Young Masons who are in Freemasons has not yet matured, and this is what you're gonna get. Now, I blame their jurisdiction. I blame their Grand Lodge, because I would tell you this from what I know personally, is that Grand Lodges of state, what they teach their members is to respect all Masons, period. I know they teach that. I'm not talking to you what somebody has said to me. I'm telling you what I know. State Grand Lodges, white Masonic Grand Lodges, predominantly white Masonic Grand Lodges, teach their members to respect all Masons, period. Now, if you're down in the South, it's a little different. It's a little different because they believe that the Confederation will rise again. They believe that. So I let that be where it's at. Me being from Mississippi, I clearly understand that. All right, what else we got here? The term Mother Grand Lodge used to describe the oldest Grand Lodge, i.e. England, Russia, France, Scotland, etc., who issues charter from subordinate lodges to operate, who then form their own Grand Lodges. All right, so now check this out. When you talk about Russia, France, Scotland, England, that system of Freemasonry that you're discussing, that you're claiming, where did it come from? Since England, Russia, France, Scotland, etc., where did they get the system from? Where did they get the system from which they practice Freemasonry right now, today? Now, I have my own answer to that, but I'm waiting on, what's this brother name? Wisdom and Peace. Okay, I'm waiting on him to answer that question for me. Did they grant a charter to PHA? The charter that was granted to African Lodge, it was not considered PHA at the time. Let's have an understanding. The charter that was given to African Lodge was not considered a PHA lodge as we know it today. It was not. So that lodge came, it was considered African Lodge number 359, number something like that. I'm off. But it was not a PHA lodge as we know it today, okay? That's truth. You can look it up for yourself. It was never considered a PHA lodge. It only changed. It changes after Prince Hall, the man himself, died. Okay, that's when they came into being. But it was never a Prince Hall lodge as we know it today. Russia is not a Mother Grand Lodge. Okay. All right. Your charter from some grand body empowers it to work and make you legit. Absolutely. Absolutely. A charter that is given to your Blue Lodge from a Grand Lodge says that you're legit. That is absolutely fact. It is, because all Grand Lodges that are organized, that are formulated into a Grand Lodge, assumes power and authority to grant and issue charters or warrants of dispensations. That's what they do. All of them. Mystery schools. What about mystery schools? What about them? Okay, but why y'all forget about the person who was killed? What person who was killed, bruh? I'm trying to get a better understanding. You said why y'all forget about the person who was killed. Read y'all lectures. I'm trying to help me out. Egypt, VA, the Greeks. All right. I think you was answering a question there, Brother Fitzgerald. I'm not for sure, but that's what I think you were doing. My cousin, who is in Pakistan, like me, his girlfriend is African American from Texas. But when they moved to Mississippi, my cousin wanted to join a white lodge, and they told him Prince Hall is the way. Ain't nothing wrong with that. They just told you that because they wasn't going to allow you to join their lodge. It's just what it is. Okay? Being from Mississippi, brother, that is just the way of life down there. Until they decide to change that, it's going to be that way. Oh, like how Alexander the Great helped burn the libraries. Everybody knows he burned the libraries, brother, because he didn't look. They didn't burn every book in that library. Let's have an understanding. They didn't burn every book in the library. They may have burned the damn library. They didn't burn every book. Okay? That stuff, that knowledge of the mystery schools and the things that they was doing, they kept for themselves. They took it back. They broke it down the best way they could, and they had came up with their own system. Let's be truthful. Freemasonry as we know it today was a whole nother system long ago. Okay? It just then all of a sudden pop on the scene because brothers in England or in France or in any place else came up with the system. The system itself was already in place. All they did was add it to, shaped and formulated and said, here you go, try this. It wasn't that it wasn't always there. Okay? The system of Freemason has been around since time began. It has always been there. The ideal is that those brothers in France and England and other places took the system, formulated to their usage, and said, here you go. You pay me, I will consider you to be legitimate. It's in writing. You can read this for yourself where they have clearly said, look, if you get your charter from me, you're going to be legit. If you pay me taxes for your dispensation, your warrant, or whatever, you're going to be legit. It is written down. I've said it before. I've even read it to you out of the book. Okay? Greetings, Grandmaster. How you doing today? You know exactly who I'm talking about. All right. St. John's. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Landside. All right. Okay, I see somebody got blocked here. This message is held for review. Okay, I got a message that's being held for review. I'm not going to post that. There are many speculations as to where these Mother Grand Lodges got the system they use. Some speculate mystery schools. Some speculate Greek. Some speculate the Moors and speculate the Romans. Well, let's speculate no more. The system for which we practice in Freemasonry comes from the continent of Africa. It is a proven fact. Now, you're going to ask me, well, how did you prove it? Well, I would tell any student who's looking to see this for themselves. There's a book that is called Harem's Key. That book, that's one of the best books I can say if you want to get really into masonry. And it breaks down the systems of societies that predate Freemasonry. And it comes from the continent of Africa. Period. So, I think it was yeah, bro. I can't allow your post to come up. Yeah, that post you just put up had to be held for review. I reviewed it and I can't let that one show, bro. All right. No need for segregation. People segregate themselves. Absolutely, people do. People segregate themselves. You are absolutely right. They do, for whatever the reason may be. Most people segregate themselves because of the commonality that they may have in association with another group of people. So yes, they do. You're absolutely right. Harem's Key, yes. You know what? I don't recall the author right now. I'm not in my study where I can pick up a book or grab a book and tell you about it. It's down there. But for those who know about that book, Harem's Key, could someone put the name of the author in the chat for me? I certainly would appreciate it. Because it's a very good book to have. I would say even Manly P. Hall is a good book. Joseph Walker, who is a prince, who's a, I'm not going to say he's a Prince Hall Mason. He's a Mason that works, who was once a member of a Prince Hall Grand Lodge. I don't recall Brother Walker's jurisdiction, but I do know that he was in there in a Prince Hall Grand Lodge. What I'm doing and what I'm learning now as I move forward in Freemasonry, I've learned never to call a brother a Prince Hall Mason. I've learned never to call a brother a John G. Jones Mason or a modern Freemason or any title that comes before Mason. That brother, that sister included, she is a member of the Order of the Eastern Star. That brother is a Freemason in the jurisdiction of such and such. So what I've learned as I read, the more I read, is that I should not be calling a brother a Prince Hall Mason. That brother's a Mason. I should not be calling him a John G. Jones Mason. That brother is a Mason. Okay? That sister is the member of the Order of the Eastern Star. So what I've learned is I need to stop that. Because there's no such thing as a Prince Hall Mason. That is the jurisdiction and Grand Lodge for which that individual has received his degrees in Freemasonry. Okay? There's no such thing as a modern free or international Freemason. That brother is a Mason. He may have received his degrees in that jurisdiction, but he's not a modern Freemason or a international Mason. When we do that to ourselves, then we've totally misplaced what Masonry is all about. We have done that only to ourselves, as the gentleman said earlier. We segregate ourselves. So as I've grown in Freemasonry, I've learned not to do that. I may identify an individual. I really want to just pinpoint something and say, well, he's a Prince Hall Mason. That's because that's his jurisdiction. I may say that he's a John G. Jones Mason because that's his jurisdiction. But for me to go around when I greet a brother and say, oh, hey, brother, who are you? Oh, I'm a Prince Hall. No, brother, your jurisdiction is Prince Hall. Brother, your jurisdiction is John G. Jones Grand Lodge of California. But you are a Mason according to your jurisdiction, period. So the mentality has to change. And that's including me also. A lot of times we don't want to change our mentality because we're stuck. We don't get out of where we're at. The farthest we ever travel is the 100-mile radius to a grand session to visit jurisdictions within our own Grand Lodge. And that's the farthest most of us get. But when you are a mature Mason, one who is seasoned, one who's well traveled in Freemasonry, you look at things a little differently. And if you don't, you need to. Plain and simple. Let's see what else we got here. The Mother Grand Lodge would be the four oldest Grand Lodges. That would be the Premier Grand Lodge of Ireland, Grand Orient of France, Grand Lodge of Scotland. They're old. The reason I'm going to agree with Traveling Man as far as what he just pointed out. But before them, where did they get their charter from? Who chartered those Grand Lodges? Since they're the oldest, who chartered them? Somebody had to charter them. Those members had to become Masons by somebody else. Where did they become Masons from? Most of us don't know. All right. Greetings, everybody who's coming on. I appreciate you. Hawkins, the secret teachings in the ancient Egypt are contained within the architectural tongue twister of every structure. Hieroglyphics are used to identify the sciences contained within the structure. All right, I can get with that. Brother Fitzgerald, we don't disagree on too much, do we? I appreciate that. What is ancient, free, and accepted Mason? Or is it ancient, free, and accepted Mason? I'm just trying to backtrack on some things. I'm missing something. Yes, Manly P. Hall, The Lost Keys is a good book to have. If you would like to contact me, here's my email address. That's how you can contact me right there. If you want to contact me, that's it. If you want to call in tonight, you can please do that. If you want to call in, you got something you need to say, that number is going to be 619-286-0642. That's the call-in number. All right, greetings from Detroit, King David Grand Lodge. Wish for Master Wade. What's up, brother? How you doing there, Brother Wade? Welcome aboard tonight. So tonight's topic is who decides who's legitimate or not. That's tonight's topic, and we're also discussing some of the issues and things that may take place in the chat line tonight. So we're going to get right on it, and as I said earlier, for those who are on board, and sisters who are in the chat room also, welcome. The Grand Lodge decides who's legit. When that Grand Lodge is structured, set up to go, organized and everything, they are legitimate. They issue charters to the lodges that comes up under it. They don't need anybody else to claim or to say who they are. They don't. They themselves decide. You know? They themselves. Should we forget about the ancient landmarks? Well, let's talk about the ancient landmarks. What are those ancient landmarks that you referring to, brother? Because there are quite a few ancient landmarks, not just the 24 that you may see. There are more landmarks than that. So what landmarks are you referring to? Okay. What's up, Brother Wilson? How you doing? Welcome aboard. Everybody who's coming on, welcome aboard. I certainly appreciate it if you would hit the likes button, whether it be thumbs up or thumb down. I certainly would appreciate it. Certainly would appreciate it. I hope this is an interesting topic to you. I know sometimes that a lot of the topics that we may discuss and bring up are pretty tabooish to some people. They want to know on why you're discussing this topic, because a lot of people don't have that opportunity to discuss it with someone else. This is what sets this show apart. You know, if you are a Mason in any jurisdiction, you're welcome to call in. You're welcome to voice your opinion, and we will have that discussion. Most shows are not as welcoming as this show. All right, yes, because every Grand Lodge is sovereign. That is certainly correct. Greetings and brothers. Muhammad, I sent you a text, but you never responded. Oh man, when did you send that text? You got me going to my phone now. I got it. When did you send that text, bro? I get busy, man. I'm telling you, I get busy. So you're gonna have to help me out. You let me know when you send me that text, and I'll definitely get back with you on that. All right. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Somebody just sent me some. The Harem's Key, Christopher Knight, and Robert Lomas. Christopher Knight and brother Robert Lamas, Lomas, Lamas. I appreciate that. Malcolm Prophet, how you doing? Malcolm Prophet, I don't know why you put up strength and beauty. You know, I don't even what does this have to do with tonight's topic, Malcolm Prophet? You just come all up in here, you just want to bust me like that, put that all out there like that. What you doing, brother Prophet? Talk back to me now. You know that, come on now. You got a little light up on you. Come on, brother Prophet. About 15 minutes ago, I was asking when you was coming on, but it's all good. I just wanted to make sure I caught the show. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you. Enoch Lodge, brother Tyree Harris, Master, Junior Warden, Senior Warden. How you doing? Greetings and welcome. Keith Hall said, be cautious. You doggone Skippy, be cautious. Let me say something. Malcolm Prophet is not a Mason. He's an individual that comes on the show. I've been for the longest, and I certainly appreciate him coming on and posting different things. And I let it be where it's at. He doesn't mean me any harm, and I'm definitely quite sure he doesn't mean the craft any harm, because we could talk about Boaz and Charkain, where they came from and who they are. You know, Boaz being an ironsman, he was all about that iron, and how he buried some of the treasures out of the temple. And as you progress in Freemasonry, you will find yourself in a Royal Arch degree looking for the very things that this man, who was an ironsman, hid. And upon that which you find, you may say, Eureka, I've found it, I've discovered it. Because that which you think that you may have found in the first degree, the first 3 degrees, are never really found. I'm just going to break it off like that. So, that's just who he is. Landmark number 14. Well, you know what? Right off the top of this dome, I don't recall landmark number 14, but if you can post that landmark, we would talk about that landmark. I didn't bring a book in here tonight to pull it up, but you know what? We can Google it or YouTube it and see what landmark number 14 is. Let's see what is going to come up. Here we go. Landmark 14, Freemasonry. Let me see what comes up. Landmark 14, Freemasonry. Let's see. There are 25 landmarks, and 14 didn't come up, but let's see what it says. It's a funny thing, isn't it? This thing we call Google. Let's see. 14 landmark. The right of every master to visit and sit in every regular lodge. That is an ancient customs. However, let me explain something to you. Politics in Freemasonry has declared that every lodge has a right to allow visitors to come in that they recognize as Masons. It's their right. So if a lodge doesn't consider you to be recognized by them, it is their right as a sovereign body to say, yes, you can come in, or no, you can't. It's their right. Don't get upset. I just go, like I said again, brothers and sisters, please hear me clearly. You go where you're welcome and be done with it. Go where you're celebrated and not tolerated. You know, if you're knocking on somebody's door and they tell you no, you can't come in, let it be. It ain't personal. It's not. Don't take it. That's who they are. Let it be. That may be a good discussion for the next show. As far as the landmarks are concerned, I think that would be. I think that was a good one. I appreciate that, brother. Landmark number 14. Definitely. Okay, but isn't violence bad? Chucky, no, son. Violence are bad. Yeah, screaming music. Oh boy, I don't know where y'all going with that one. All right, I email you. Let me know your thoughts. All right, I definitely I would check that email out and see what they are. I don't know what time it is where you're at. So 301, 310. Is that in California? That 310? It looks like a California. At 310. Is that Long Beach, Inglewood? I'm just asking because that's what it seems like. The right of every Mason, yes, the right of every Mason to visit and sit in every regular lodge. If recognition is not a big deal or importance, define a regular Masons. Okay, brother, when politics are involved, it is what it is. There's some things in Masonry we shouldn't necessarily talk about, politics and religion. But let's have an understanding. Politics and religion are big in Freemasonry. It's true. I know what we say as Masons. But let's be honest with ourselves and stop lying to ourselves. Politics and Freemasons go hand in hand. Politics, religion, and Freemasonry, it is what it is. Why do you think the Grand Lodge of England pulled recognition from France? Because they didn't have the Bible on their altar anymore. So they pulled recognition. Not only that, the Grand Orient of France recognized female Freemasonry. So it's politics, bruh. And I'm not mad that it's politics because that's what that Grand Lodge chooses. That's their right. They're sovereign, and I respect their sovereignty. That's me. Okay, define a regular Mason. Define a regular Mason. There's no such. Okay. I'm going to say this clearly. When you state a regular Mason, that is a Mason who's been initiated, passed, and raised in a just and lawful constituted lodge of Masons, which has a charter granted to it by a Grand Lodge. That is a regular Mason. Okay? Now, some may say that you're not regular based upon the fact that they don't recognize you. And that's not your issue. That is their issue. Yes, usually most regular lodges, usually most regular lodges of the Blue House lodges get their charter from the United Grand Lodge of England. Someone has a secret and not talking about, I think you're not talking about it, and it is known to the common Mason. Mount Everett. Martin Evans, are you a Mason? I think you are. You've been on this show before, and I want to say I thank you for coming on, but I'm only asking that question because of what I'm reading. You says, yes, usually most regular lodges of Blue House get their charter from the United Grand Lodge of England. Someone has a secret and not talking about it, and it is known to the common Mason. Is not known to the common Mason or is known to the common Mason? You got to help me out there, brother Evans. I appreciate it. Crazy Z. I'm not really ready for a relationship. But thanks for asking. Hey, maybe I'll give you a call sometime. Your number still now. Oh, wow. Okay. I missed that. That went over my head. I'm not going to even lie. At the Traveling Man, Woman's at Cripo Cream. Y'all don't pledge cause you're irregular. I don't get that one. Martin Evans, you are very incorrect. Let's see what Martin Evans. Okay. All right. Well, it seems like Traveling Man definitely hit you with that. Un- Untimely. If you recognize yourself, then other brothers will recognize you. Everybody does things differently in their house. Absolutely. Oh, okay. You're right. Everybody does do things differently in their house. Absolutely. You're right, Traveling Man. Traveling Man, we've been agreeing all day today. Oh, wait. Is that a good thing? You're right. Masons do not pledge. The next time I hear a brother talking about they pledge Freemasonry, I'm going to have an issue. Well, I already do, but I'm just saying I hear it. Brothers, yeah, I pledge. That's my pledge, brother. That's my line, brother. There's no pledging in Freemasonry, people. It's not. I don't know where you get it from, but there's no pledging in Freemasonry. Now, I would say that to say this. In the South, there are a lot of lodges that are started on college campuses, and this is where it comes from. There are a lot of lodges in the Masonic uh, uh, order that is found on college fraternity, that is found on colleges, and they take some of the same things from college fraternities or frats and they bring it to Freemasonry, which is incorrect. We don't pledge. I don't know where you get that from. The regular Mason has one, two, yes, absolutely. I've heard PHA say, I've heard PHA Masons say that they, from time to time, when mentioning their cable toe, there's nothing wrong with saying your cable toe. That person was there with you, and they had a cable toe also. So I don't hear anything in regards to cable toe. But when you're talking about pledging, I look at you differently. Then we're gonna have to have a conversation. You come into my I pledge. You pledge what? Masons are for men. If you're going to be a man, if you want to see the stages of youth, manhood, and age, masonry is the way to go. It is. If you get into a good lodge, a good legitimate lodge, I'm not just talking about Prince Hall being legitimate, mainstream. I'm talking about a legitimate lodge that is teaching you the core essence of Freemasonry. Brotherly love, relief, and truth. That motto. Okay? If you're in a lodge that wants to see you be successful, that is a good lodge to be in. But if you're in a lodge and all they ever talk about is let's go party and drink, that's not the lodge for you. That's not a good educational lodge. I would say that. I bet if you stuck on the side of the road, regular, irregular, shit won't matter, period. I'm gonna let that show. You know, that has actually happened. I will agree. I will, what's that? Ran down three, a third. I will agree with you on that one. I can agree. I certainly can. I pledge mean, PHI mean. Okay, Mike Larry, all right. If a group of men preaches a ritual and take the OB, are they Freemasonry? Are they Freemasons? When you say purchase a ritual and take the OB, no. There's some structure to that. There is some structure to that. If a person goes and purchases a ritual and takes the obligation, no, that doesn't make them a Mason because of the structure. It's about the structure, okay? It's about the structure. Taking a Bible and reading it doesn't necessarily say that I'm a preacher. However, if I study it enough and I understand it enough and I'm able to break it down in such a way, you know what? There are some Masons out there that has never gone through the process. But they're what I call walking Masons. When I say walking Mason, that's a person who's never been initiated in Freemasonry, but he understands, he can break it down, the philosophy. As a matter of fact, what's my guy name? His name escapes me. We talked about him here earlier. He gave a lot of great lectures. Oh, shucks. Manly P. Hall. Before he was a Mason, he was a philosopher. His study into the esoteric and mystery schools brought him into Freemasonry. From what I know of him and about him, from my own reading, he was never initiated into the craft as some of us have been initiated. He was never done that way. And after he was brought into the craft, you never seen him publicly lecture anymore. You need to think on that. After Manly P. Hall was brought into Freemasonry, you never seen him lecture again publicly. If I'm wrong, somebody need to correct me. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. A lot of white lodges do that, Brother Tony. Oh, wait. What do a lot of white lodges do? I missed something. I've been traveling. Okay. Oh, I've missed a lot. Hey, Art Sky, welcome aboard. I appreciate it. Let's see. I'm blessed to be in one. Always. Pleasure, brother, to hear your nod. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Let me see. I've been say how you feel customer t-shirts. Oh, you make t-shirts, brother? Hit me up. I may have to have you to make a t-shirt for me. As a matter of fact, since you put up your shirt, you can put up a shirt, put your information up in the group chat. Since you make t-shirts, do that. I've been traveling since '03 and I do not agree with the lodge on college campuses, but they are my cable tow. But I didn't pledge my lodge. I pledge my frat. All right. Well, what's up? Frat. Greek. Okay. Definitely agree with you. But I have talked to brothers who refer to their cable tow as they line brother. I've seen it and I've corrected them. When I see a brother say that's my line brother, I say no, he may be your cable tow, but he's never your line brother. Freemasonry and the Greeks are totally two separate two separate organizations. Now, myself, who's a Greek, I would say this: Greeks are for young teenage men. And when I say teenage men, I'm talking about anybody that comes in, you go to college at 20, you coming out at 24, 22, whatever that age group is, that's you're still in that teenage thing. When you become a Freemason, that's for men. You're going to set aside the Greek aspect of what you just went through, and now you enter into a man's organization. It's going to help to enlighten you on some things in life. Now, I'm not down in the Greeks. Let's have an understanding. I'm not down in the Greeks. I think it's a great brotherhood to be part of. I'm just saying that as a Freemason, across the board, it's different. Youth, manhood, and age. You'll catch that on the way home. It's different. All right, what else we got here? Let's see. Oh, man, I'm running behind. Can you explain clandestine masonry? Because clearly what everybody is saying it is not. Okay, clandestine masonry is a lodge that is operating without the consent of a Grand Lodge. Okay, once again, clandestine Freemasonry is a lodge that is not operating with the consent of a Grand Lodge. In other words, that lodge does not have a charter that is issued to it by a Grand Lodge. So that lodge would be considered clandestine because there's no one there to oversee its works. Okay? Period. There's no one there to keep it within the framework or within due bounds of the structure of Freemasonry of that jurisdiction. So that is considered clandestine. Just like the CIA do clandestine missions for United States. If they're ever caught, then the United States denied that they ever knew them. That is considered clandestine. All right, that's truth. A cable tow line, brothers are two different. Yes, certainly is. Okay. All right. Okay, so structures. Where did John G. Jones get his structure from? It depends on what John G. Jones Grand Lodge you're referring to. Now, if you're referring to this particular Grand Lodge, John G. Jones Grand Lodge of California, Ancient, Free, and Accepted Masons, We have always claimed that we practice the ancient customs of Freemasonry. Now, you said, where did we get our structure from? Well, most Masonic rituals are already written out there. So long before I stepped on the scene, this Grand Lodge was already functioning and going and moving. So the structure that we have is what we call an ancient structure. Okay? Now, some would say, well, no, what about the American structure? Well, yeah, but if you go back to landmark number 14, we include that. So if you tell me, Brother Hawkins, I am a Mason, and you're not in our book as far as being recognized, but if you come to the title of our lodge and you knock on the door, and after he's tried you to see if you are who you claim you are, and you have the proper credentials in your hand, we'll let you in. We will let you in. That's how we get down. Because you prove to the Tyler, who then informed the senior deacon who answered the alarm at the door to say who you are. And you got the correct credentials. We'll let you in. After business is taken care of, yeah. See, that's part of the ancient customs of number 14 that the brother was mentioning. That's how we get down. Most Grand Lodges, most jurisdictions don't do it that way. But most jurisdictions that I have visited does it that way. Most ancient free and accepted Masons under the John G. Jones lineage, I'm just saying that for those of you who like to throw out lineage, feels that way. That's how we rock. All right. All right, so we took care of the one in clandestine Freemasonry. Biggie Moss. Okay. I didn't become a Mason for brotherly love, relief, or truth. I joined because of the noise my truck kept making when I first started up. I didn't want to be stuck on the side of the road. Oh my God, bruh. Oh. You know what, bruh? I ain't even mad at you, man. I'm not even mad at you. That was truth. You just told the truth, bruh. I'm not mad at you. Let's go show it or blow it. Crazy Z. I can't post that, bro. I can't let that be shown. I'm gonna have to hide that, bro. No, I can't get down like that. I'm gonna go ahead and delete that one. Crazy Z, you right. All right. No PHA cannot go to an ancient free and accepted lodge while they are conducting business, but that does not mean that I gotta see the rest of that. Don't do it. That's true. I'm going to sit here and say that. I'm going to agree with Brother Shahid on that one. I'm going to agree with him on that one. Okay, can you please answer my question? Brother Mac, I didn't see your question. Let me go back. Maybe I missed something. Please be CIA. I'm capable, so you will have to... Oh my goodness. All right, I missed something. Let me see. You never seen a mainstream brother stuck on the side of the road? I have. I have seen a mainstream brother stuck on the side of the road. I have, and I pulled right behind him. Hey, did you need any help, any assistance? And we struck up a conversation, and he said I was good. And when he told me that, I waited. He pulled off. I pulled off. So if he was legitimately stuck, I wouldn't say stuck, but he pulled over. He had the emblem on the back of his car, and that was that. I've done that. My wife thought I was crazy. She sure did. Let's see. Oh my God, sexy. What are you talking about, Crazy Z? Man, I'm gonna have to look, man. Stay on topic. I'm gonna have to kick you off the show, man. All right. What's the difference, cable toe or line brother? Well, cable toe is that brother who was initiated with you in the process of being a Mason. If you are a Mason, you know what the cable toe means. So that's why he would say that that's my cable toe. Now, line brother, meaning that when you online, because college fraternities prefer when you pledge that you are online. Masons don't say you're online. They say you are being initiated. So there's the difference in the initiation process, cable toe versus my line brother. That's the difference. Okay. Seriously, what matters is you keep your obligation. That is. What matters is that you do keep your obligation. But also what matters, and this is my own opinion, is that not only do you keep your obligation, but you understand the differences between Greeks and Freemasonry. All right. I agree with you, brothers. It is the level you start as a young man in Greek's life that you move into the adulthood with the lodge. Absolutely. Okay, so Wisdom Peace 911, 1991 is a Freemason. All right. UGLE equals, plus AAA equals Illuminati. Oh my God. Oh, you got me rolling tonight, bruh. Come on. We try to maintain some levity here. Crazy Z, I can't be showing what you writing, bro, because you way over here, man. Come on back. All right, Helen from the Grand Lodge of Tennessee. Well, welcome aboard. Just wanted to thank you for your show. I've been traveling for almost a year now. I have been following your show ever since. All right, Judea number 547 in Texas. You know what? I'm coming to Texas, brother. I'm coming to Texas. I can't necessarily say when right now because my wife told me I can't tell everybody when I'm going. You can tell them you're going, you just can't tell them when. But I will be in Texas soon. That's all I'm going to say. Real soon. Yep, I'm looking forward to it. And I can say it'll be Houston, Texas. Texas is big, so I'll be in Houston, Texas. I'm not saying what size, Sugar Lamb. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I'll be in Texas, all right? Can a Prince Hall Mason attend my 4-letter lodge? If he can convince the Tyler that he's a Mason and he has the credentials and he's vouched for, he can visit. Hear me clearly. If a Mason comes and knocks on the door of Hosea Lodge number 7 and he can prove himself to be a Mason, or somebody can vouch for him as a Mason, according to the ancient custom for which we practice in Hosea Lodge number 7, working up under the most worshipful John G. Jones Grand Lodge, State of California, ancient, free, and accepted Mason, that brother has a right to visit. That's in our bylaws. It is. That's just in our bylaws. Okay? All right. My brother said, visit Western Jarvis in Texas. He is bogus also. Well, that is of your opinion, Joe Snow. That is of your opinion. I happen to know Brother Jarvis, and he's been a good brother to me as far as masonry is concerned. He's not disrespected me. He has done right by me. And I know other people may have issues with him, but that's not my issue. Okay? I deal with individuals, not based upon friendship of somebody else. See, if you're friends with me and you're mad at that person and I'm a friend with that person, that's between you two. That has nothing to do with me at all. Now, if you dislike me because I'm friends with him, that means you was never my friend in the beginning. That's how I see it. Do we practice speculative masonry or Freemasonry? Well, brother, I practice free masonry. I don't practice speculative masonry. And let me tell you, I just myself uh, really looked at it from that point of view as far as speculative masonry is concerned. I practice free masonry. I don't practice speculative masonry. Now, some may say, well, what happened? Well, you know what? When you travel to different places and you see things for yourself, you change as you grow, as you travel as a mason, as you travel as a Freemason, and you see things, you change based upon what you've seen. And that is what has happened to me. I can only speak for myself. All right? All right. To be a Mason, you must be a man free as a man. Need to hold your own Grand Lodge responsible for providing proper roadside assistance for his members. Oh my God, you got me rolling on that one, brother. I practice light and perfection. Malcolm Prophet, you may practice light and perfection, but I believe you have a Masonic ritual hid up under your pillow. That's a fact. So now you consider yourself to be a legitimate Mason, Malcolm Prophet, because you have a Masonic ritual somewhere in your house, your apartment, under your bed mattress, a pillow. You do. I know you do, bruh. I know you do. What's up, Brother Rogers? How you doing? Welcome aboard. Does John G. Jones Grand Lodge have their own conference of Grand Masters? Yes, they do. Yes, John G. Jones has his own conference of Grand Masters. False prophet. Who's a false prophet, brother? What are you talking about? I'm gonna have to get rid of you. You know what? Here's something I see. When you say false prophet, I'm gonna share this with you. People give you God in the sky. People give you God in the sky and then take your land and property and tell you to continue to look up in the sky. The kingdom of heaven is within. Okay? That's where I'm at. So when you holler false prophet, I don't know what you're talking about, but we definitely I like to have that discussion. I don't mind having that topic. Malcolm Prophet, he's been around for a minute. I'm okay with him. Oh, Malcolm is a prophet. My apologies, brother. I kind of thought that's who he was talking about, but I wasn't for sure. But Malcolm Prophet has been on here for a while. I don't believe he means us any harm. I used to call him a troll, but since he's been on here for a minute, I let him be. I do. I just let him be. That brother has a good spirit. John G. Jones and Willie Gray changed, charged, tried, and expelled for all rights and benefits and privileges of Masonry for gross and Masonic conduct, 1903. All right. Since you done brought that subject up into this show, since you brought that up, how is it that Prince Hall Shrindom can change the name to Ancient Egypt Arabic Order Nobles of the Mystery Shrine? How can they do that when John G. Jones is still clearly a member of the Grand Lodge of Illinois, and he's also still a Grand Lodge officer at that time, and he's the imperial potentate for the Shrindom. So you tell me about John G. Jones being expelled in 1903 and you organizing your Shrindom in 1900. Yes, Prince Hall Shrindom was organized in 1900, and John G. Jones did not give the okay for that. He was still the imperial potentate. So I'm waiting on that answer. They changed the name when he was a... Why did they change? Did he give permission? Answer that. Did he give permission to change the name? I think they used him when they did that. I think they used him because clearly Prince Hall Shrineman was the only Shrineman that was sued by the white Shriners. See, the ancient Arabic Order Novus and Mr. Shrine has never gone to court dealing with any other shrine body. Never. And see, I don't like that Prince Hall Ancient Free and Accepted Mason debate. I was into it at one time. But as I've grown, you know, that stuff right there is small talk. You're talking stuff that happened over 100 and some years ago. Here we are, black men in the year 2019 being shot as we run away from the police with no guns. And we're talking about something that happened in 1903. I mean, it's a good subject. I mean, you know, but to talk about that as if it really matters today, when we dealing with this super predator that's hunting black men and women down, ugh. I'm just saying, yep, you can't have it both ways, bro. You can't have it both ways. I did a video on that one. I did a video on that you can't, that was the name of the video, you can't have it both ways. Brothers, you know the level of my soul is religion. That's my Masonic element. I am water. Water seeks its own level. As Grandmaster Frank J. Bobo of the Grand Lodge, the most wishful sons of light Grand Lodge used to say all the time. He was my first Grand Master. You know, they called ego tripping. Okay. So in other words, affiliation in Freemasonry shouldn't matter, right? Well, affiliation in Freemasonry doesn't matter to me. Now, it may matter to your Grand Lodge, it may matter to somebody else, but me as a Mason, affiliation doesn't matter. This is what matters to me. And I'm only speaking in regards to me. I'm not even speaking in regards to my Grand Lodge. See, and I've said it before, until I found him or them as worthy and well qualified as I am myself. That's all that matters to me. Now, if I find you worthy and well qualified as I am myself after we've had a good conversation in regards to Freemasonry, oh, you got all of my respect. But if you're going to sit here and BS me along the way, and I'm knowing it, and I've called you on it, and you can continue to do it, no. You may be a Mason, but I don't recognize you as such because I didn't find you worthy and well qualified. I didn't. See, that's an individual thing, and we tend to miss that. Being a Freemason is an individual thing. It's not a group thing. It's an individual journey. To be an Eastern Star is an Eastern Star journey. This is why most brothers can't even talk to an Eastern Star. Now talk back to me. Most of you can't even talk to an Eastern Star because you don't know the works of an Eastern Star. So you sit back and you relax, and you may see a sister and you say, oh, I'm a Mason, and you think she's supposed to jump through hoops. No, you're supposed to speak to her in such a way because she's Queen Sheba and you're Solomon. So can you talk to her as such? No, most of you can't because you haven't gone through the process. You have not received your 5 degrees as the Eastern Star. So therefore, if you are, I'm going to stop. I'm going to have some Coca-Cola. Have a Coke and smile. So no, this is where you find yourself at. You know, I would tell every Mason, go join the Eastern Star chapter. See their works. Because if they're ever stranded on the side of the road, they have a Grand Helen sign also. They have a sign that will show you that they're an Eastern Star. How can you recognize whether that person is stranded is an Eastern Star when you don't know the works? When you yourself haven't been initiated in the 5 degrees? When you yourself haven't gone around the labyrinth of life, that journey that they take? How can you talk to a sister and hold a decent conversation with her when you don't know the works? Have you seen the star in the east? Ooh, how do you answer that question? I'm just saying, because a lot of brothers who are Mason, they feel because they are Mason, they can go up and talk to a sister any kind of way. No, you can't. You got to be able to speak to that system decently, in order, okay? That sister demands your respect. Now she out acting ratchet, and you are Mason, but you know her to be an Eastern Star. You should pull her to the side and say, sister, this is not how we should carry ourselves, and leave it at that, because that sister who's a member of the Order of the Eastern Star, see, her example as an Eastern Star is carried by 5 women: a mother, a daughter, a sister, a widow, a wife. Okay? So she represents all of that as a woman. And there is a process for which she goes through. This is why it's important for sisters who become an Eastern Star. They must gravitate towards a woman who is able to really show you what it is to be a woman. I'm not talking about hanging out at the club all night. And there's nothing wrong with going to a spot, you getting your dance on. Ain't nothing wrong with that. What I'm saying is being ratchet as you are an Eastern Star. I'm talking about being drunk when you're on the dance floor at the club and you're a Mason, you lit up with your jacket on. Some of y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. The word clandestine is MIOB. Yes, it is. But I also understand the definition of clandestine. Okay? And in your OB, it doesn't give you a definition of clandestine. But if you understand the true meaning of the word, then you operate upon the meaning of the word. Not on the subjective meaning, but the actual meaning. A lot of us look at the word clandestine and subjectively put that on a Grand Lodge that you do not recognize. And that is the incorrect way of doing that. The correct way of doing it says that, brother, we don't recognize your Grand Lodge. It is not to say that you're not a Mason. We just don't have amity with you, so you'll be able to visit our Grand Lodge. Well, the question would be, do you practice the ancient customs of Freemasonry? His answer then would probably be, well, according to our Constitution and bylaws, or maybe their Constitution, because you're not in our book, we can't allow you to visit. But if somebody can vouch for you in that lodge, we may allow you to visit. And then it will be left up to the wishful master. That's the process. Now, the other part of that is that if you visit my lodge, Hosea Lodge number 7, Ancient Free and Accepted Mason, we may say, okay, you're not in our book, and we have one. However, can you answer these questions? Are you able to do X, Y, and Z? And if you're able to do these things, then based upon what you're able to do, based upon the criteria, based upon your membership card, your passport, whatever you have to prove that you are who you say you are, yeah, come on in, sit down. As a matter of fact, if you're a past master, come on to the east. We'll wrap the gavel for you. Bring you on up. Now that's how we do it. Hold on, I got to get this call. Yes, my brother. Call me back because I can't hear you. Oh, well, he did. So, all right. I'm talking about your information now, my brother. Okay, well, CIA and FBI are clandestine. Look it up. All right. I'm just going back. Yes, brother. Okay, we can do that. My face. Okay, y'all changing Facebook names. All right. Ooh, I'm running out of power right now, so I'm not going to hold anybody any longer, but I certainly appreciate you coming on tonight, and if I was able to answer your questions, this has been a great conversation. Now I hope that we all understand who decides if your Grand Lodge is legit or not, because what happens is that we get a lot of misinformation from individuals instead of going and looking it up for ourselves and having a better understanding. I hope that you've gotten it. I hope that I was able to help and assist you along your way in this journey of Freemasonry and the Order of the Eastern Star. It is a great fraternity to be a part of. And if you're interested in becoming a Mason and you are in the state of California, please look up the Most Wishful John G. Jones Grand Lodge of California, Ancient Free and Accepted Mason. We'd love to have that conversation with you. If we are not the lodge or grand jurisdiction for what you would like to become a part of, there are plenty others here. So it's a great organization. I've met some great people. I've met some very interesting people, and I've met some people I don't care for. But I love the organization yet the same. So, oh, wait a minute. Tony, I have a cousin who was John G. Jones in Kansas. Do you know the Grand Lodge there? Tennessee. Grand Lodge, Ancient Free and Accepted Mason, is the Grand Lodge that is in Kansas that I know of. Now, there may be another one there under a different name. I have to look in my book and see, but I can do that also. All right, brothers, just give me a call tomorrow. Text me first. All right, text me first. I'm going to put my cell number in here. So, brother, you can text me first before you call me, okay? And please, whatever you do, put a name with the text. I appreciate that. So that's the number. You can text me at 619-985-1184. Please put a name with the text, and I would definitely hit you back again. This is my personal phone number, okay? I don't mind, for those who have it, I don't mind having a conversation. Say, brother, if you have anything to help me learn more, please email me. What jurisdiction are you a part of, Brother Carlos? You can text me at this number and tell me. You don't have to put it in there. I'm not just going to send you information, all right? What jurisdiction are you a part of? I have to know if you are who you say you are before I send you information in regards to Freemasonry. All right? Send me a picture of your dues card or something. I'm not just going to give you information and then, no, that's I can't do that one. All right. So look, I appreciate everybody for coming on tonight. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Please, whatever you do me a favor. Hit the like button, or hit the down button if you don't like it. But whatever you do, hit a good button for me. I appreciate that. And as always, until we see each other, until we greet each other, please, whatever you do, stay out the bushes. Keep your light on. Peace and be well. I'm out.